What's going on, people? Episode 9 of Off the Chain. It's been a while, guys. Actually, when I loaded this stage up for Off the Chain, I noticed the last time I did this was around the NBA Finals. That's how long it's been. So this is going to be great. It's getting, it's fall time. Not doing too much. Summer is hard, man. It's hard to do live streams in the summer on the weekends. I'm sorry. Call in now, 669-900-6833, and you see the code on the screen, 169-861-119. Hit us up. Grand Rapids in the building. How you doing, Bill? DeVos land. Call in, guys, 669-900-6833. We're going to be talking about, at least I have 3 topics that we're going to kick it off with. And we'll just go from there. First topic is about what Mike Novogratz has said about Bitcoin. He says it's going to jump about 30% by the end of the year. See, I like those types of numbers. We'll look at what he's talking about. Those are realistic numbers. So we'll look at that article. Also, Ethereum. I saw this tweet last night, and I didn't know he was actually a parody developer, but he made a tweet about Ethereum. I think he was being sarcastic. He said, "Can everyone stop adding dApps to the Ethereum network? It's clogging it down." And then we had Buterin respond, and so we're gonna take a look at that whole thing. And then thirdly, I've covered this twice now. This is the 3rd time covering this China report that they do, I think, every month or so, but it's like a cryptocurrency report that they do. And it's from their official, they have like an official department, a cryptocurrency development department or something. So they got a new list kind of giving you the top 100 cryptocurrencies and all that good stuff. And we're going to look at that as well. So episode 9, guys. Just hold in tight. We're going to get started in a second. It's been so long, I forgot where my darn call log is. This is crazy. Oh, man. All right, so let me find that, and then we'll get started. Oshika, how are you, man? We got Make YouTube Great Again. What's good, Cali? Doc of the Bay. That's the Bay Area. We got George Soros in here. Oh, we got the cabal in here, people. J Quest, what up? KD, what up? K Sept, how are you? Hello to you. Yeah, Bill, I know. I did at one point as a young buck, I was up there doing some stuff for the DeVos campaign when he was running for the state. So I know about DeVos pretty well. Brian Jones, Patrick Corzine. Hey, Crypto Gucci is in the building. Patrick Corsino, how are you, bro? Tyson 800, you said we met at Big's party. Cool. Thanks for coming. Michaela Pike, thank you for the super chat. And I will definitely get to your question. If you guys if you're not calling in and you want to have a question, just super chat me something. Doesn't have to be much, and then I'll make sure we cover that question. Has anyone called in yet that's in queue? I can't see it right now. So let me know if anyone has called in. Thank you, KD. I'm gonna start making beats again as well. Stress reliever or something. Some time, you know, something to fill my time up while I'm not doing this crypto stuff. I may have to restart the Zoom. Let me see here. I'm gonna do that. Let me try to end meeting and come back in here. Edit. Telephone and computer. Okay. Start. All right, I guess we'll try to just go ahead and get started for today. Hope you guys are doing well out there in YouTube land. Yeah, I made the beat, KD. Yep, I used to produce music. Shoot, man, it's been 9 years, 10 years. What's going on though, people? So we're gonna get started. Let me fade this music back a little bit. I'm telling you, I'm rusty, people. I'm rusty. I haven't done this off the chain in a long time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at that market cap really quickly. We're sitting at 223 billion. Bitcoin's dominance slowly dropping. We're 51% now. And kind of pulling back from some of those highs. Ripple's up still 100% for the week, but they did have a slight pullback earlier. But yeah, we're kind of sustaining at those lows, it looks like. And Mike Novogratz, and we're going to take a look at that. Mike Novogratz talked about he thinks we've got the bottom in, so we will see. I've heard that many times before, but I do like Mike Novogratz. He's more realistic in his predictions about cryptocurrencies, I think, and his latest prediction of 30% pop by the end of the year sounds realistic to me. Sounds realistic. So let's take a look at, are we decentralized yet? Nope, we're not. Okay, so we can go to the next thing. Let's look at this chart. Again, I liked it to see that we broke above the 6,600 area. We actually tried to test that slightly twice, actually. 1 and almost 2 there. So it was good to see a pop off of that. But again, we got to get past this 6,800 area in order for me to feel good about the future, you know, about us getting back to, ultimately, this is where we want to get though, 7,300. If we go back, see this slam, that's where we want to get back to and score a point. If we can score a point there, we are good to go. All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at the first article about Mike Novogratz. It's out of Crypto Daily. It says Bitcoin to jump 30%, says billionaire Mike Novogratz. Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Investment Partners believes Bitcoin will have a 30% rally by December of this year, which means the current price of 6,700 would jump to 8,700 if he's correct. The backer of EOS and former Wall Street hedge fund manager made the prediction on Friday in a CNBC Fast Money interview. Novogratz said that cryptocurrencies have bottomed in prices and that most of the selling has concluded. That means valuations have now nowhere to go but up. More importantly, we're seeing institutions slowly getting into the space. You're seeing lots of activity in the private markets, he says. He adds, Bitcoin will outperform a while because many institutions consider Bitcoin as a safe store of value and will prefer it over speculative coins. Goes on to say institutions are building the infrastructure for investors to pour money into cryptos, including top banks. New institutional investors could enter within 3 to 6 months in Q1 or Q2 of 2019. I can believe that. The market could see an avalanche of money pour into cryptocurrencies, according to the former Goldman Sachs partner. It only takes one major player to invest in the space for others to join in and bring loads of capital. These include influential endowments. Goes on to say here, growing adoption of Bitcoin. Digital gold is going to be an easier thing for people to swallow, Novogratz says. For Bitcoin, he says it's all about growing adoption rates to justify higher valuations. With each passing year, younger tech-savvy investors will continue to invest in digital assets to reflect today's digital realities. Bitcoin is also going to be used as a payment system, which surprises me. You're going to see Bitcoin used in the retail space. Once people see it, they'll start hoarding some, he says. Also, that will help with brand recognition and people's acceptance of it. Goes on to talk about Tim Draper. It says earlier this week, billionaire Tim Draper made an extremely bullish prediction for Bitcoin in the Street interview. Maybe it will dip further, but boy, I made that prediction and I'm sticking to it. 250,000 by 2022 for Bitcoin. Wow, that's it's pretty steep there. It could happen, I guess. 3 years, yeah, I could see maybe 100. You know, Draper is an investing legend in Silicon Valley, where he made nearly early stakes in Hotmail, Skype, Tesla, and other unicorns. A few years ago, he won an auction of 18 million for 30,000 Bitcoins that were confiscated from Silk Road by the U.S. Marshal Service. Those BTCs are worth nearly 200 million, I should say, at $6,700 Bitcoin, which is where around we are right now. Honestly, that's crazy. In a recent prediction, Satis Group forecasts Bitcoin to gain 367% by next year, and that will put it at 32,000. The ICO advisor firm also believes that privacy coins such as Monero, Zcash, Dash, and Pivx will make the biggest gains out of all the coins over the 10-year period. It goes on to say here, Bitcoin is anti-fragile, says American economist Jeffrey Tucker. I like Tucker. It's a technology that grows strong when under attack. It has experienced blows, but it only grows stronger and better. This is why the critics are constantly feeling humiliated, and some will never admit it. Very true. And that word anti-fragile, you guys know about that word? I first heard that from I think as an author. He wrote what book did he write? I think he wrote a book called The Black Swan, I think. He kind of came up with that and coined that term anti-fragile, basically meaning, guys, that it's money badger, the honey badger, right? You can't stop it. It doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care. It will just move around regulation and stuff. And that's why I just wish that we had the community be more on the libertarian side of things when it comes to not really caring about regulation, ETFs and rules and all that stuff. We need that, you know what I mean? I think it's good that we stay away from that stuff and have that attitude. When I say we need that, we need to be able to stand on our own and not care what these governments say. Yes, anti-fragility is it, right? Yes, that's his name. Thanks for that, Kukuza Nassim Talib. That's him. That's him. Thank you for that. Yep. So what do you guys think? Like, It's 32,000. I think that's fair. What Novogratz is saying, 30%, I should say, which would put us at around 8,700 by the end of the year. That feels appropriate to me. That feels appropriate to me. Again, you guys go ahead and call in. Hotline number is there on the screen. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. 30% sounds good to me. What do you guys think? Or do you think we're going to see more than 30%? Jimmy Douglas says we're at the bottom. Yeah, I think the bottom is forming. You know, we may get one more dip, but I definitely think the bottom is forming for sure. Absolutely. My thing is 2022. They say 250,000. Tim Draper says by 2022. That's pretty aggressive, in my opinion. I think that's pretty aggressive. Jimmy Douglas says we're at the bottom of the cup and handle. Dome will hit 20K. He says we'll hit 20K by New Year. When do you think we'll hit 20K, Jimmy? Brian Jones, the call-in number is on the screen right now. 669-900-6833. And the code is right below it. Call me. Give me a call. Let's talk. I actually like to talk to people. Just give us 1 second. I got think Brian's gonna call in. Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. So let me see here. Pull up the participants. There we go. Call on the line. It's your boy Crypto Blood. What's going on?
Blood, what's up? It's Steve.
Steve, my man Steve. How are you, man?
Man, I didn't want to call first, but someone's got to get this party started. Let's go, people. We've been talking months.
I know, man. I'm so glad you called in. People are scared, I guess. We got 52 people online. Somebody better call in other than Steve. How are you, man? It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, last time I called, I saw those Twitter trolls attacking you for having me call. How dare they? How dare they?
Yeah,
so,
you know how it is, bro. That's why I like doing these, because you know, the trolls stay on the keyboards normally. Rarely do you see a troll get you while you're, you know, talking to them live. So definitely, if the trolls want to come in, come on in.
Well, I'm a troll myself at times, so hey, I can't blame them. But so there's a couple of schools of thought. Like obviously, you know, a lot of TA people think that we're obviously like going to go lower right now. I mean, it's all probabilities. Like, you know, like we're still going down. But then you have people who are Wall Street people, like Novogratz, and I follow Andy Hoffman, and he's an ex-Wall Street guy, and he's been saying for a while that the $100 billion market cap has been the line. Like, he thinks that like every time we basically touched $100 billion, which has been around, I don't know, like a 5,800 to, you know, range or whatever, we basically shot back up, and like we've like touched that line I think 5 times now. So, you know, a lot of people are making predictions. It's kind of hard to, I mean, like, you're kind of just guessing, obviously. It's just guesswork. It's educated guesswork. I mean,
yeah.
you know, like, you know, it's a very low market cap, so it doesn't take much to really change things, I guess. But so I've been following that school of thought, and so far, it hasn't been wrong. I mean, like, every time like we get there, I mean, like, there might be quite a bit of support there, but I mean, it's fooled a lot of TA people so far, I think, and a lot of people have kind of called the bottom like around like this range, like in the past, and we still haven't broke it. So it's hard to tell. I mean, I got money on the side, obviously, like if we go lower, but I mean, like we've bounced off this line for months. So
yeah, you know, I had a conversation when I was out at the Litecoin Summit. I think the guy was BitBoy. He was a YouTuber, and he was saying that, you know, 6,000 is around the threshold for mining profitability. Anything lower, and I was telling him, yeah, that, you know, that may be the case, but I've seen in the past, you know, Bitcoin stay under the mining profitability price for, you know, months. So it's not like it can't do it. It surely can. But it feels like it's a bottom, you know. It feels like a bottom. I personally thought we would touch at 175 billion in market cap, would have been like an 85% correction from the highs. Just strictly talking market cap. So that was kind of my target for it, and we got very close. 180 something we got down there. So
yeah, I mean, I've been you know, dollar cost averaging, but you know, I'm kind of ready to pull the trigger like soon here. I mean, you know, I mean, it's not worth it like to miss it. Like, I mean, like in reality, I'm not talking that much money. I mean, like people that say like 3,000, obviously, well, sure. I mean, that would be, you know, about 50% of what we perceive the bottom to be. But I mean, if it's not the bottom, then we got plenty of time. If it is the bottom, it seems like we got plenty of time. So,
yeah.
I mean, so Tim Draper, besides Silicon Valley, like I think he made that call 3 years ago. You know, Bitcoin was a couple $100 like that. Like he said in 3 years, like it would hit like 10 grand. Obviously, it's luck. I mean, it's still an educated guess, but it's, I mean, how can you know?
Yeah,
know?
Yeah, it's an educated guess for sure, because it may almost be self-fulfilling. You know, he's well known in the finance industry. So if you throw that out there, how could anyone ever know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be above its all-time high? Like, yeah, we can all say, okay, I think we're going to be at 20K, which is, you know, near 20K all-time high. You know, people, I can listen to someone say that, but who knows? Like, above 20,000 is unknown. It really is, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, we definitely obviously know we have back coming, right? So if the institutions are not like loaded up or backed, but to be prepared, they have obviously been buying for a while. Like we know from the article, I think they've been preparing for a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. I mean, like that's just like what they said, like when they first mentioned it. But like, you have to think that other people are kind of planning the same thing. So like that's why that $100 billion line, you know, kind of makes sense to me. I mean, like if you're like an institution and you have something to offer, you want to offer, and you want to stay competitive, you kind of don't have a choice. Like what choice do you have? You know, because pretty soon you will be left behind. Like I've heard, you know, a lot of, you know, Bitcoin OGs, you know, basically saying it's going to come to a point here soon, if we're not almost there, that there's more risk not to own it and offer it than there is to offer it. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I think we're basically there. I don't personally care about the ETF because, I mean, I hold my own keys. Like, I mean, I don't care. I mean, I don't care if the institution's coming now or in 5 years, because it's one of two scenarios. It's like they come in right away and I make money, or I buy more and I make money.
Right.
So I mean, it means nothing to me. Slow or fast, you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, I'm just getting prepared, obviously. Like, I think my point of view has changed a little bit. I wouldn't call myself a maximalist, but I think a lot of the market sentiment is kind of, you know, put up or shut up, or show me that you have a real use case at this point.
Well, let's talk about that. So you're kind of changing your position from being somewhat of a maximalist to not walk me through why. What in 2018 has changed?
Well, I think for me, I don't think it's just the market. I think it's more me and the evolution of thought. And like my evolution of thought has kind of been, well, I've talked to other people about this, but what truly needs to be like decentralized? Because according to the 2,000 coins out there, apparently everything does, but in reality, it doesn't. I mean, obviously money, right? That clearly needs to be like decentralized, right? And I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but besides that, you could say the internet as a whole, obviously, you know, like that's a little broad, but I don't own any of like Funfair or something like that, but you know, gambling has a trust issue, and I can see that, you know, needing to be like decentralized.
Absolutely.
So, you know, like when you think about it from a decentralized standpoint, you know, there's not too many things that people are really, you know, clamoring for it, you know, be a trustless system. Money definitely, and I definitely think gambling. I mean that's a dirty business. But
yeah, and you know, TrueFlip was an ICO that I participated in the early 2017, and they were revenue. They were doing ICO, and they had already got to revenue. So I don't know why that hasn't taken off like that. But hey, with the advent of sports betting being legal in the United States now, you know, maybe we'll see that. But again, I think, Steve, what it all boils down to is that the barrier to entry for the common folk is still is hard. It's hard for people to, like, there's this decentralized app that I use for videos called Viewly. It's hard to use Viewly because I have to, as a normal person, I can use it, but I'm just saying, just imagine a normal person using, they have to know what MetaMask is, download that, send Ether over there, do these contracts, you know, send money to the smart contract.
Years away.
We're way, man. And it even with away. EOS, I'm a strong proponent of EOS. It's the same hurdle though. People have to know how to use GrayMass or whatever Chrome extension and load EOS on there. So we're still some years away from just mass adoption, in my opinion, for all of this stuff. Well,
these are kind of like different subjects because obviously most coins are not going to be fully like decentralized, and that's okay. I mean, if a currency was maybe like decentralized, I heard Joe Lubin called he called it EOS. Like he kind of like referred to it as like a more centralized layer, but he thinks like it'll work. You know, because there's obviously like advantages to it, and he kind of mentioned like if EOS ran on top of like Ethereum or something like that. But so even, you know, like pure decentralization in a lot of things is, you know, long ways away. But even the centralized layer, like you're talking about, like it ain't gonna be easy for years. You know, like I know someone testing like the Pillar wallet and trying to think of exactly how they word it to me, but he's like they missed a lot of very simple stuff. Oh, for example, he said within the Pillar wallet, that it only had like, for example, like the amount of like token you had, and not the like US dollar or, you know, like euro like amount. So therefore, like you have to think of things in terms of you know, like Satoshis and stuff like that. Yeah, like how, I mean, like that is definitely not friendly to even most people in the crypto space. So the wallets have to get a lot better. You know, like that is a big entry point. If you're going to control your own finances and all your tokens, well, you know, the wallet better be pretty damn friendly. And I think we're just years away. So like in my point of view, I have no problem of placing moderate to small bets on other things, but to me, like it's, you know, I mean, Bitcoin or shitcoin kind of like, and like I don't like hate other coins, but like as far as like true value, I mean, obviously everyone's talking about Bitcoin. You know, the
Yeah.
big money's talking about Bitcoin. Anyway, they're not talking about.
Hold your thought there, Steve. I got someone else on the line. If you want to stay on, you can, and we'll resume. It's up to you.
I'll call you back in a little bit. I'm gonna go make myself a stiff drink of whiskey, sir.
Aha, sounds good. All right.
All right, later, brother.
Take care. John Hill, is that you?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Chilling, man. I was calling in. You know, I guess the topic is the price going up.
Yeah, where's price going, man? By the end of the year, none of us know, but
yeah, I mean, you know, I'm saying 199 by December. I'm sticking to that.
Okay, everybody, let me just say this. John Hill he's a troll, but he's a friendly troll. I like friendly trolls. John Hill has said he's been commenting on my videos for, I don't know, man, how long? Like 6-7 months? 6 months?
Yeah, around that time. Yeah.
He's been saying Bitcoin 199 for 6 months, guys. Are you serious about that, man? I always wanted to ask you.
I mean, anything's possible, man.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
Yeah. Anything's possible, no doubt.
Yeah, anything's possible. I mean, who knows when the price is going? But I just think there's a lot of things that are going on that need to be cleared out before the price goes back up. And honestly, I don't like where the direction of everything is going, because, you know, you've been in this game for a minute. Mm-hmm. I've been in it since like late 2012, early 2013.
Oh, okay. That's around when I got in. So you understand. You're right there with me. You've seen how much this game has changed. This community has changed. Then, like,
extremely.
It's extreme, right?
Yeah, it's totally different. Like, the conversation is like completely different. I mean, like, everybody's waiting for the CTS, and, you know, like,
everyone's looking for Moon and all. Like, back then we were talking about, you know, how we can eliminate the US dollar, and, you know, just various topics that had nothing to do with necessarily financially profiting from it.
Just an alternative.
Just an alternative.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that was, to me, I like that vision more than where it's going, because honestly, I'm seeing a shakedown. I'm seeing a takeover.
I'm seeing a takeover,
especially
too.
by the financial interest. Like, you know, I remember reading articles about, you know, Bitcoin and all the altcoins, you know, a couple years ago, and everything was a scam. It was, you know, it was used by drug dealers and this and that. Everything was negative. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I'm like in a couple of Telegram groups, and I explained to them, like, you know, all the news now, they be like, oh, it's FUD, this is FUD, this is FUD. I'm like, I've never seen more positive news about Bitcoin ever. Mm-hmm. And I just see, like, I don't know if you saw the Attorney General in New York, they had a report against Binance and Kraken, and yeah, I just see, like, I think they're gonna flip this whole game to where, because Wall Street already has a couple of exchanges like Polynex and Circle. Yeah. And Nasdaq is talking about, you know, having their crypto trading. I just think what they're going to do is they're going to crack down on these exchanges, these regular exchanges, mm-hmm. and they're going to be the middleman, and they're just going to market it to the average user, and they're going to make it to where you can't buy Bitcoin unless you use one of these exchanges, and the whole idea is going to be basically taken over as just another financial instrument that Wall Street's making money off of it. So when I see, like, people's sentiment, like, going crazy for the ETF, and they want, you know, this financial institution to come in, and it's just, to me, it's like, this game is over pretty much.
So what are your thoughts about XRP? Don't you see that as one additional chess move by the central banks?
Exactly.
Okay.
I've never been a fan of XRP. I don't even understand what the token is for, because, you know, from everything I researched, they seem like they have like some type of software, some type of way of moving, funds faster. I guess maybe using a token or not. I don't. And this is why I'm confused. This latest move just shows you like going up to 80 cents and in like 2 days and then dropping this like 59 cents. It's just craziness, man. I think there's something going on in the background that we don't know yet. And everybody is calling this the bottom, and CNBC is out here talking about, everything's coming back and it's going to 7,000. I think there's going to be something, and it stems from that report from the Finance and Cranking. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be some type of news that's going to drop this price. And I don't think this is the bottom. Honestly, I think this is. Well,
we know you think 199, so that we're a hell of a ways away from the bottom, and according to your technical analysis.
I mean, I remember like when I first got in, it was $10. So, me saying 199, that doesn't seem that often. I mean, I've seen this from $10 to $20,000. Like, you can't imagine, like most people can't imagine seeing those type of prices in, just like 5 to 6 years. Like,
yeah, I mean, like crazy. I said, when I got in, it was $79, $78. Man, we had a crazy rise to 200. Then we kind of came back a little bit. Then we went from there all the way up to 1,000. That was, and then Mt. Gox kind of was the pinnacle. That was when everything kind of went from 1,000 all the way back down. I think the market is much more mature now. As far as when I say mature, I mean number of players. Like, the markets were so thinly traded back then, dude. Like, I was telling someone the other day, most of these cats don't know what HODL is. Like, HODL means one way in, no way out. Like, when you got Bitcoin, you had to HODL. There was no
buyer.
There was no buyer. That's HODLing, because you had no choice. Like, if I wanted to sell my Bitcoin, I would have to meet up with someone on local Bitcoins, or meet up with someone on the dark web somehow and do an exchange, or buy a pack of socks, or buy a pizza. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's HODLing, because you had no choice. You had no choice.
It's completely different. It's completely different now. But I just, like I said, man, this something doesn't seem right. It seems like the financial industry is going to take over, probably by the end of the year. And
you say what? Crazy you say what's going to take over?
I think the financial industry is going to take it over. I mean,
it's already happening. That started 2017. That's when that started, beginning of 2017.
I think it's going to be completed by the end of this year. Like, I just think they'll have the regulations in place. They'll have, they already had exchanges in place. They already, like, these larger companies are acquiring the smaller companies. It's a takeover.
Yeah. And
I mean, I just see people cheerleading for it, and they don't understand what's going on. They don't even understand the concept of why this was created. And I think you said it. You said it in one of your shows. You were like, this is just a new product, but with the old method, basically, or along those lines.
We're heading in exactly. It's the old thing packaged up in a new way. It's fiat, banking cartel, that whole ACH, SWIFT. It's that packaged up at this point. I don't think it was initially intended for that, though. I'm not gonna go that far conspiracy, on the conspiracy side.
No.
But that's what it's being. We're going that way, where it's just that system all over again. But it's worse now, because now there's more control. If the masses ends up going the route of your Ripples and those institutional type of backed facilities, so it's horrible, man. It's absolutely horrible.
It's crazy, man. But I think there's still opportunities. There's definitely still gonna be opportunities to you know, a few of these coins will take off, but he really wanted to, you know, to research and understand what they're trying to, complete or basically trying to revolutionize a certain industry. But I don't know, man. It's not looking good. 199 still coming.
There you go. Oh man,
I'm gonna get off the line, man.
All right, bro. Thanks for calling in, John.
It was nice talking to you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right, people, hit that hotline 669-900-6833. I've got about 65 people streamed in right now. I know one of you can call in. Again, 669-900-6833. The code is 169-861-119. I think we got somebody, finally. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Who's calling in?
G'day, is it Alex?
Alex. It looks, sounds like you're driving.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Good. Just enjoying a Sunday morning down on the other side of the world.
Ah, across the pond. All right. Good, man.
Yeah. Big pond. Big pond.
Yeah, right. What's going on, Alex? What do you want to call in and talk about?
I know you and Bix have sort of hooked up occasionally. I was just wondering your thoughts on his Road to Rooter theory.
I ain't buying it, brother. I ain't buying it. That's my guy.
You don't?
I ain't buying it. Nah.
What aspect? Like, I mean, it looks pretty good, but it sort of makes sense in some regards. But I was wondering what aspects that you found that don't quite gel.
Well, I mean, all like Alan Greenspan being Satoshi. That, come on, man. That can't.
Yeah.
That's just nonsense. The gold in the Grand Canyon. I mean, I need more proof, man. I need more proof. But the Alan Greenspan Satoshi thing just body rocked me. Almost passed out, bro. I said, I cannot believe this guy just said that Alan Greenspan is Satoshi. I know Dr. Bay. I know you love Biggs, man, but come on, man. Come on. So just some of his theories, you know, again, I don't feel like I feel like those are his genuine theories, though. Those are his genuine feelings. Yeah. I just don't agree with many of them, but so that's why I still have love for him, because I really like that he's genuinely being himself, and you can't hate that. Yeah. You can't knock that, bro.
No. And because the pre-Greenspan with Satoshi side of things, the Road to Rooter, before he was in crypto, was speaking about the inflationary aspect of the monetary easing, the QA, and or the QE, sorry, and then using it for a gold standard, going to a gold standard prior to crypto.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of conflating. There's a lot of confusing correlation with he's in my opinion, some of his theories are just, he's confusing correlation with what's the word I'm looking for? Causation, you know. I'm on Steam. Yeah. I'm on Steam it, Connor. I'm on Steam it. Check me out. Or Steam. I'm on there. But yeah, that's what I think happens in many cases where he comes up with these theories, and yeah, man, that's. But again, love the guy. He's really nice guy. I got a chance to meet him when I was out in Cali for the first time, so that was cool. And his supporters are very nice as well. I didn't get any beer cans thrown at me or anything like that.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that anyone talking against the current system is on the same side. So it's not ever a case of one's against the other, I don't think. Just different viewpoints.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. The reason I ask is just sort of thinking on it, you know, with sort of the original what you guys are talking, because I'm only sort of fairly recent to the space, but have always sort of wondered how things are going to pan out economically and how things are going to pan out sort of socially as a result of any changes, because we're all very linked and sort of connected to the economic system based on, like, you know, how the world functions.
Yeah. But I mean, we've got to be very careful though, Alex, about as John Hill, the previous caller, talked about. We have to be very careful because we're currently going down the wrong path in cryptocurrencies as a community. Aside from the Wall Street side of this whole thing, the community is losing its vision, its purpose, and we're slowly being sucked into what the cabal and the Wall Street guys want. You know, that's why I tell people to be very careful with this Ripple and you know, those types of, you know, ETF. When I first heard about the ETF last year, I swear that I was probably, I won't say I was one of the first to cover it, but I jumped on covering that right away because I knew that eventually the ETF would be, it's set up to manipulate in the future. It's not going to do it right away, but they're setting up all of the framework to start the manipulation in the future. You know, if everyone is looking at that price and everyone's looking at the COMEX or the CBOE price of Bitcoin, the futures price of Bitcoin in the future, and you know, down the line, that becomes, you know, reality, and that's a way that people can manipulate people's psyche and emotions about what the price and value of a Bitcoin should be.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you that there seems to be a usurping of the space at the moment with the price action or the institutions that are working out a way to game the game. But the thing, two things that was sort of mentioned about how, you know, it's dangerous because there's potential for more control over us.
Absolutely.
As far as monitoring and purchasing and everything like that. But then the flip side is that we're actually in more control to trace out these backwards. Like we're now able to observe big tether moves or big wallet moves, or you know, we've got more observational power over the big plays. The veil, it seems, with the space, you know, the veil between the institutions and the banks is getting thinner between us as the public and them as the, you know, the opposition, so to speak. We've got more ability to see the chess moves, and so we can have a little bit more awareness of what's going on. And
that's true.
And so there's a sort of ebb and flow. We've asked for more control, but we're also able to be sort of observed a bit more. And if, you know, it came down to a massive financial collapse that was identified, I mean, much like the previous one, enough research and not hidden sort of stuff as a result of the research, you can really sort of identify these players as to who caused or who was largely part of the last collapse. And if it's found that those people who say are responsible or involved in the next one move over to take over large portions of crypto, we've got more ability to walk with our feet. You know, we can't walk from the Aussie dollar. We can't walk from the USD in the current status. But if it went over to crypto, and we can walk, you know, it just takes sort of an identification of who's the baddies that we can say, all right, well, you can have your currency and we'll go find another one, and make that one that's more, be it through the tech of smart contracts or whatever.
Okay. So let me just say this. I agree with you on now we have the opportunity to see pseudo anonymously what's going on, you know, when funds are moving from one wallet to another. However, I think, Alex, what they're going to do is herd everyone into these Coinbases and Krakens, and then you know all these like very easy. They're going to make it a very easy way for you to buy cryptos, and they're going to say, "Well, I'll hold your coins for you," and FDIC and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're gonna ease us into, most of us, into that route, and when they have us there, they can control us a little bit more. On the flip side, cryptocurrencies and blockchain does give us the ability to maneuver around them a little bit easier as well, if you know how to use your privacy coins and all that stuff. So, but they will block the privacy coins. They won't allow that to be traded on any of their platforms and stuff, in my opinion. And so maybe that's why Mike Novogratz and I think it's Mike believes that, or I think Tim Draper actually believes that those anonymous coins are going to be the ones that really outperform Bitcoin in the future. So we'll have to see.
No doubt, and those will all be traded on DEXs. You know, the traced coin will go over to the Binance DEX when it's up, or whatever DEX becomes pretty outstanding as far as UI goes, and then they can swap it out for the privacy coin and walk away with the money washed. And then, but that's, it seems to me that the UI is a massive component. The ease of entry, as you're saying earlier, the barrier to entry as far as tech understanding goes, but the education on why this is important, and you know, the freedoms, or the sort of gathering of a bit of personal responsibility can create an immense amount of personal freedom. Freedom that people think on the other side or is not that valuable. Like, the bliss of ignorance is literally a bliss, but it's still ignorance. So.
Correct. Well, I got another caller on the line. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
definitely call in again, bro. Thank you.
All right, for sure. No worries.
Caller on the line, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Central Illinois. This is Silvertooth.
Silvertooth! What's going on,
Hey,
brother?
what's up, bro?
Thank you so much for calling in.
I finally got the phone, so I'm on the line, I guess.
Okay, all right, great. So what's going on, man?
Not a lot. What do you want to know? I know everything in the world, and I'm right about 20% of the time.
Man, so we're currently talking about this whole Bitcoin and where the price will be end of the year. Mike Novogratz thinks 30% rally by December 18th or December of 2018, and that will put us around 8,700. How do you feel about that? Is that a realistic? I think that's a realistic price target there.
Well, I think it'll go one of two ways. I either think it's going to go way over that or way under that. I don't know. That's just my thoughts, man.
And why is that? Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I did a prediction video at the beginning of the year, way before everyone realized that this year was just going to drag on. And I said that big money was going to come into it. And I'm talking, you know, people that had, you know, 500 million plus at the end of the year. And they were going to try to get that pump because this market's so small. It's easily, easily manipulated. So I figured people would come in at the end of the year. They would all group together to do like a group buy, come in at the end of the year, raise the markets, and then everyone would have FOMO raising the markets like they did in 2017. And then they would cash out just like they did in 2017, take the profit, and they could have like a 3-week period where they just come in and make like 200-300% profit. What other markets can you manipulate and come in and do that with? But it's not a guaranteed thing. If they don't do that, then, you know, it's a drawn out process. And I think it's just going to go stagnant until we get new people coming in here. And I think that's going to not happen until we have more growth in the market. I mean, we got a lot of people in crypto, but we don't have a lot of new people, I don't think, coming in crypto. I mean, my channel's shrinking. I see other channels shrinking. And, you know, the views are going down every day because nothing's happening.
Right, right. And to me, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't want the people here, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I don't want the people watching and looking for when they're going to get rich. I personally think those days are over to see those types of returns we saw in 2017. You're going to have to wait longer. You're going to have to do your research. You're going to have to do your homework. You're going to have to work for it now. And so that's fine, because I'm trying to always educate the audience on the proper way to invest in this crypto game. So, yeah, it's dwindling for sure.
At the same time, that's what drew in the big crowd in the 2016, 2017 era. You know what I mean? Was the get-rich-quick scheme. You know what I mean? And we almost kind of need that pump, you know, albeit it's a bad pump, but it gets them in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
but
if we don't have another pump,
they ultimately end up buying near the highs, man, and getting their nuts clipped.
Yeah,
is how we say it.
yeah, they do. They get wrecked. That's for sure. Yeah. But they get into it. They know how to work it. They get in the process. They know about crypto. Crypto spoke more. And see,
I want them to come in to this game not looking for buy low, sell high, but more so buy and try. if you want to say, you know what I mean? Like, I want people to buy it and try it. Use the cryptocurrencies. I remember last year I had, you know, I put my merch store up, selling shirts and stuff, and this was at the pinnacle. This was like 2017 November sometime, maybe October, but people didn't even know how to buy the shirts with cryptos. And it's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. We need people to actually use these coins and these tokens instead of just hodling them. Where do you hodl? You don't hodl. Here's the thing, you don't hodl money, right? So if you say crypto, Bitcoin, I don't think Bitcoin is currency. But if you say Litecoin, you know, Dash, Digibyte, all these other cryptocurrencies, if they're actually money to you, or actually I should say currency to you, then you should be using it. You shouldn't be hodling currency. Right,
but the losing end is, like you were just talking about with the last caller, is when they make it available to the public through Coinbase and all those, and Ripple, and they have it on the end spectrum of actual money itself, and then we're out of the game. You know what I mean? Because then it just becomes a financial institution, and we've all lost the game. So I don't really like that end either, where, you know, it's all done through the bank system, and we might as well just be using the dollar bill. You know?
Yep.
That part scares me even worse.
It scares me,
you know?
Man. Ripple scares the hell out of me, because I always said I was not in support of Ripple, right? But I never said it wouldn't go up. Just because I don't support something doesn't mean it won't go to the moon. And so I think a lot of people in this space right now is like, if you don't support it, then it's going to zero. No, that's not necessarily true. You know, and so I've just been following this whole Ripple thing, and if it's going to pan out the way it looks like it's going to, this is going to be very bad for those who are less informed about what cryptocurrencies are. And they're going to end up buying and supporting Ripple. I'm already seeing it. Like, you know, last year I saw a lot of people that were introduced to crypto through Ripple. So it's going to be scary, man.
It's a bad circumstance.
Yep, sure is. Sure is. So thanks, man. I appreciate you calling in. Definitely call back when you get a chance, man. I see you said you got that phone from your wife. So next time you get that phone from her, give me a shout. Let's give it up.
Right on. Good program, brother.
Yeah, give it up for Silver Tooth.
All right,
peace. All right, people, go ahead and give me a call, please. This is horrible. Nobody wants to call in. This internet age of typing and chatting on Twitter and chat rooms. Joe Marshall, yes, tell them to hit that like button as well. Polly B, love you, man. What's going on? The number is 669-900-6833. The code is 169-861-119. While that is displayed on the screen, I do want to give a shout out to Michaela. I believe that's how she pronounces her name, Michaela Pike. She sent me a super chat, and I have to definitely cover that. I appreciate the super chat. But she asks, Crypto Blood, could you voice your opinion on Veritasium and its commodity-backed tokens? Why aren't you holding any? Cheers in advance. So how many of us, I'm going to just do a quick poll. We got 69 people online right now in the chat room. How many of you guys hold Veritasium? How many of you guys got it? I'm sure a lot of you do. Hit that line, hit that hotline, people. Yeah. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. So my thing about Veritasium, Reggie is a genius. I was telling someone on Telegram, they had the same question. They posed the same question. Is nothing against Reggie as far as him knowing what he's talking about. Like, he does. He knows so much. I even get confused, and that's partially why I'm not fully on the train with Veritasium, is because I'm trying to figure out and understand it. I've watched a number of his videos, but the guy talks way above my head on how this is going to be used and where the demand is going to come from. And I'm going to say this, the reason why I'm concerned, see, people, I saw someone in Telegram, another chat room I'm in, I won't say the actual chat room or the person, but they put up a screenshot. People were talking about Veritasium, and they put up a screenshot of the supply of Veritasium outstanding and what's in in circulation. I'm not concerned directly with that, being that Reggie holds most of the coins. My concern is when he actually strikes deals with these different countries, organizations, so on and so forth, the supply, he's taking from his supply to give to those individuals. Those organizations and countries won't be buying in the open market. They're going to be getting it from the stash that he has. And so with that being said, I'm not sure how demand will push up, because I think most people, again, this is just what it is. I'm just going to speak for the community. You're holding Veritasium, you're holding a lot of these, it's just not Veritasium, a lot of these tokens and coins we're holding for price appreciation. You want to sell your token at a higher price. You're not looking to actually use Veritasium. So with that being said, my concern was more so with where is the price appreciation going to come from? Where is the squeeze in demand on supply going to come from when he seals these deals with these different countries? He's pulling from his stash to exchange with those individuals and selling it as a piece of software to those organizations and companies. So you guys let me know, organizations and countries, I should say. So that's kind of where I stand with it. It still will work. I'm sure of it, because he's a smart individual. My thing is, the people who are hodling it, hoping for price appreciation, you may be in for a rude awakening. So that's kind of where I am with that. John Hill says Veri is unproven, too abstract. Everything is a value transfer. Need more meat in real world adoption. I guess I can agree with you a little bit there. Fud Killer says, I fear Reggie is one of those ahead of his time and won't connect because he's too early. I'm gonna say this, Reggie is definitely ahead of his time, because I'm telling you guys, I've been in crypto since late 2012, 13. Listen, Reggie was doing videos back 2014 about cryptocurrencies, about what was the name of his he had a coin prior to Veritasium that he was trying to do the same concept on the Bitcoin protocol. And this was way before the wave. Ultracoin. Yes, thank you, Don. Ultracoin. Go look up, type in Ultracoin on YouTube and watch some of his old videos. The guy is definitely ahead of his time. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that he can't pull this off. I'm just concerned with everyone looking to profit from him pulling it off. It may not happen the way you think. John Hill says Ken will overtake Bitcoin #1 spot by 2000. This guy. Oh man. Yeah, so thank you, Michaela Pike, for your super chat and your question, and I hope that answered it. I know she had to run, I believe, but yeah, hope that answered it. I'm gonna try to tackle one more article before we get off. We've been on for an hour. I wanted to keep it brief tonight since you guys too scared to call in. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not. I got two people holding on the line. Let me get these two callers in real quick. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Who's calling in and where you from?
This is Bill Mish on the other side of the mitten. How are you?
GR! What's going on, man?
Gotta be you, man. I've been in the crypto game since late July. Last year I bought my first little piece of Bitcoin, but really got into it in August when I picked up some Litecoin. So I got the euphoria of the run up.
That's fine.
You know, that's normal. I was and I was loving it, and I hodled right through all my gains, and now, you know, I'm down, but I'm not emotionally down. I see the value in the crypto space and what it's doing, and I think I've got a good grasp on the end game of why it'll work, and I think, you know, I don't think I'm alone in that camp.
Okay, so let's let me hear what you have to say and why it will work. I want to hear this.
Okay. Well, I first got turned on to really investing by noticing all the manipulation that was going on, you know, through YouTube videos, admittedly, from people that, you know, were much more hip to what they thought was going on, you know, with the manipulation, everything that was going on with the Fed, all of this.
Okay, so you're saying you got into Bitcoin and crypto because of what you saw as far as manipulation on the traditional side, the legacy system, stocks, bonds, all that. Okay.
I kind of leapfrogged from precious metals. You know, I started stacking the metals as a result of that fear. Is really what it was, but it was seeing what was actually going to happen. And before I watched, you know, Bitcoin at about 400, and about the time it got to 900, my wife said, "You're never going to let me forget this, are you?" Because, you know, we didn't jump in, and shortly after it ran up. But the reason I see it working is I think it's all part of this game. Like, you know, there's some things that President Trump did. Nobody thought that he would get in. I think he is in to not only level out, you know, the swamp, but I think also the central banking system. He sees that that's what enslaves every one of us. And they've got to have an alternative currency of sort for the people to use when he takes them down. I mean, I think that's the only thing that's really going to free us. The more people that are starting to talk crypto, and I heard one user, you know, talk about Reggie Middleton. I mean, I bought VERI. I don't know why. I bought it because smart people said it's smart. You know, it's in the WebBot data, which I'm not a subscriber to the WebBot data, but you know, these are all little pieces of truth that I'm putting in my truth bag and saying, I don't know exactly what's happening, but something's happening.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts about cryptos becoming manipulated?
Well,
or do you think it can be manipulated? I guess should be the first question.
I think if we let them get their hands on the futures and determine, you know, the direction that the cryptos ultimately go, I think we're cooked. We're as cooked as we are with the fiat dollar. So I think
okay. Let me ask you this then. Let me flip it around and say, okay, what is going to mitigate that manipulation, stop that assault by the Wall Streeters? What do we have to do? What do you think we have to do to stop that? Is it more knowledge on the subject? And
more knowledge would be fantastic. I think people are starting to adopt it more and more. I didn't know anything about it, and if I went back 1 year ago to today of what I know versus what I didn't know, it's night and day. So knowledge is going to be extremely powerful, but I really think it's taking away that position of authority that the Wall Streeters and all that have with the money system. And you've got to cut out their money system, and then the manipulation goes away.
But is that do you really think that's going to happen?
Man, if you'd asked me this 2 years ago, I'd say no way. There's no way it can happen. But I have witnessed so many things that contradict how I used to be, and used to think that I really do. I really see it happening, and I see it happening sooner than later. I don't know if that means 2 years, 4 years, but that's, you know, in the end game, that's sooner than later.
I got you. Well, thank you so much for calling in, man. I got 2 other people. We could have continued, but I want to squeeze these individuals in. Make sure you call back for the next live chat, man.
Will do, Crypto Blood. Thanks for taking my call.
All righty. Oh, Crypto Geek, you on the line?
I don't think this Crypto Geek. He might have hung up. This Don.
Okay, 1 second, Don. Old Crypto Geek.
Yo.
Hey.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Hey,
how you doing?
Another day.
Right on. How do you like that Ripple action, Blood?
I hate it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, bro.
I don't know. You know, X-Rapid, everybody's on about it, you know, and I think that the supply is so so choked up, and the ones that are going to throw money at that have money to throw at it. So I think it's easy to see that price action go up 3x and then back down. Like, Jesus, it was up 80% on BitMEX, and then by the end of the day, it was only up 20%, something like that. That huge candle and fallback retracement, that was crazy.
So let's talk about what's going on here, man. Like, I'm afraid of Ripple, because I see Ripple really gaining traction and I can see them truly gaining traction in adoption. That's why I fear it.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, they're testing with the money transfer agents, right? Your Western Unions and that type of thing, right? So I can see how it may be used, it may be adopted. There's no doubt. Yeah. And that would be great for Ripple holders, right? I mean, it's not going to stop Bitcoin.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because you have to forgive me, I'm not as knowledgeable about this Ripple network, I think it's called.
And neither am I, but.
Okay, so let me ask you this and see if you can answer this question. This and a guy on YouTube put a very lengthy response in my last video, because I posed this question. I was like, where does the XRP token play into this whole ecosystem? Is it necessary? And basically what he said was, it's not necessary in the X current platform, but eventually in the X Rapid it will be tied back into it. Is that correct?
Correct. That's my understanding as well, and I'm only catching up because I hate Ripple as well. So I mean, I never put a lot of effort into it after what I did see with the central validation system, and
they can freeze coins and all types of stuff.
It's ridiculous. I had no interest in it whatsoever. You know, I did see the news come out when they started testing with these money transfer agents last year, You know, this is just the fallout from that. You know, so yeah, it's a pump. You know,
So
it's gonna.
is it a pump, or I'm sure it'll dump as well? But I guess my question is, go ahead.
Let me preface that by saying it's a pump at the bottom of a 9-month bear market. So
yeah.
It's easy to pop off the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I was telling someone else on Twitter, like, I think he made a comment along the lines of, I'm sure those Ripple bag holders are happy today. I'm like, well, probably 80% of them bought it at $3. So they're probably not, they're probably not still, you know, happy. But
I would agree with that. You're probably pretty close there.
Yeah, but, you know, my whole concern is, old Crypto Geek, is that it's going to steal the attention away from the true cryptos in this game.
Well, I think that investors, especially new investors, get caught up in the hype and the euphoria very easily, and I think they get burned very, very easily, and we've seen it time and time again. So, is that likely to happen with Ripple? I would say so.
Okay.
I think there's real projects with better real value that have longer legs, so to speak. Like Ripple could be replaced, I guess is the point that I'm making, right? Like Stellar has the same technology, for example. It's an alternative, and that could be copycatted and so on and so on.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, old Crypto Geek, is that it's not about how, if something can be replaced. The dollar can be replaced, but when you start having such a, when it gets embedded into the system, it's more about it. You know, once it hits critical mass, it's done.
Sure.
Data.
And I agree, but I'm just saying that Ripple's first comer to the stage here.
Okay.
They're going to have competition. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Stellar,
the
as
story
you stated.
isn't over. Right. That's all I'm saying. You know, look at Cardano. Cardano's setting themselves up for financial transactions with their Marlowe, the Marlowe software, right? Like the base settlement layer of Cardano is set for financial transactions.
What concerns me about XRP, though, is that it's not like one of those things like if XRP corners the market and gets 70-80% of the banks on board, there is no incentive to use another one other than maybe they charge less in transact. I don't know how far you can get down to.
If that's the case, if that happens, then yeah, I mean, it looks pretty bleak for the rest, right?
Right.
But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. No, we're not. Yeah, you're right. All right, Crypto Geek, old Crypto Geek, thank you for calling in, man. Make sure you call in next week. All right, brother. Thank you. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Who's calling in?
Hey, Crypto Blood, it's Don.
Don, let me see who else I got on, Don. Who else is on the line? Hello?
You're still on me, I think.
All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and remove that person. So, Don from West Virginia, what's good, man? It's been a while, right?
Yeah, wanted to chime in with the Veritasium stuff. So I followed their Telegram chat, and their users, as dedicated as they are, and you know, you never know how much is confirmation bias or actual good, but they seem to be having some very good results with the Veritized gold, and during the bear market, buying the Veritized gold as a hedge.
Yes.
And you know, some people are up 15%, 30%. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's better than being in the bear market holding your tokens, watching the value go down. But yeah, people seem to be doing well with it. It's a clean looking platform. I'm not a beta tester myself, but it looks positive to me. And he's as you said, somebody posted about that supply question. I chimed in there on Twitter and said that whether he's holding 98 million or not, he's definitely building something, because he's got a beta out there that's being tested and people are going nuts over it. But you know, you don't know if that's confirmation bias or what.
So, okay, so help me understand as far as what I was understanding about Veritasium months ago is that the individuals that he onboards, or I should say countries or organizations that he onboards, they are going to use or purchase the tokens as far as like they're kind of like software licenses or whatever. Are
right,
and that's going to be supplied through the stash that he reserves.
That's what I understand.
Okay, so walk me through as far as where the value is for the individuals that have it now. Like help me understand how that works.
The value, I don't think he is banking on token appreciation just in terms of supply and demand. I think and this is all speculative, I don't know, but I think that when he feels so strongly about his product that he feels when it gains traction, you're going to have a clamoring for those utility tokens.
I agree.
And in my opinion, that's what's going to raise the price.
But
and
you got to.
I don't know how. Go ahead.
But you got to take into consideration that demand is going to come out of his 98 million pot reserve, not the 2 million that's floating.
But I think he's banking on such overwhelming demand that even with the over-the-counter sales, and I'm guessing that those over-the-counter sales, I don't know if those are going to be slowly introduced into the market or what's going to happen with those. But I'm thinking maybe he's along the lines that the demand is going to be so much that it'll even raise the outstanding 2 million. I guess my question is, okay, so he had 100 million tokens issued, 2 million got bought, 98 he's holding. What do people expect him to do with the remaining 98 million? Is he expected, because they raise a big stink that he's holding them, and do they expect him to burn those tokens?
No, he's not.
2 million outstanding, or
no, he's not going to burn them. He's going to, from what I understand, and someone out there correct me, he's going to, that 98 million is what's being used in the business transactions with these countries and different institutions.
Yeah, that's what I understand too. But I'm saying, like, to the criticizers out there, what
I don't
do
think
they
understand
expect
that
him to do? Do they expect him to burn 98 million tokens and leave 2 million outstanding? Like, because everybody wants to harp on him for holding 98.
Yeah, they do.
What did they expect him to do?
And again, that's my thing. That's what I was saying. Is that I don't have a problem with him having 98 million versus 2 million outstanding or floating. That's not my issue. My issue is that when the demand comes, it's going to come from the 98 million, not the 2 million. That's where I was having the hiccup with. So I'm not sure. Silvertooth and Big O, man, much appreciated. You guys hit me with the super chat. Really appreciate it, Silvertooth and Big O. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, what was that? Shoot, lost my train of thought there. The utility of his token is, of course, to open exposures to. I think that he's only opening exposures to those tokens in which he's done reports on. So, like PayPal and Populous, and in the future, I'm guessing he's going to do a bunch more. But it's my opinion right now that he's only opening that exposure to stuff he's done research on, basically hedge fund managing, because that's the name of his game, right? That's what he's good at, right? That's where
he's a genius at that stuff, right?
Yeah, so I think that's where the value of the utility token is going to come from, is people clamoring, say, hey, I want to invest in whatever Reggie is putting his money into, PayPal, Populous, and whatever the next ones are. So, I mean, I think based on the beta platform, I can see people using that utility token. Mm-hmm. And also, too, the use case is discounts on the Veri Gold. If you want to buy his Veri Gold, if you put up some Veri, then you get a discount on that gold. So there's a second use case.
Okay, so how long can that discount go on? Is that a promotional thing, or is that, I mean, because I don't... How much below spot are you getting a discount?
He put it in his Telegram group. I don't recall. It was something like 0.07 VERI for some fractional amount off gold. Maybe I'll just throw a number out there. If gold is 1,200, maybe 1,170. You know, it's not a lot, but it's kind of enough to say he has a second use case for that token and getting a well, let me put it this way. You can get discounts on the gold token. You can get discounts on his research.
I understand, and I'm fully supportive of the discount on the research. My thing, when you start saying cryptocurrency backed by any commodity, it kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion. That was another thing that I had an issue with. And it's just not him. I've seen a number of cryptocurrencies say they're backed by a certain commodity.
Yeah, we've talked about that. And at the end of the day, you want cryptocurrency to be trustless. But if you're going to underwrite hard assets with it, there's got to be trust in the custodian somewhere. You have to trust it. And then that couples into the trust of having Reggie hold 98 million tokens. It's like, how much do you trust this guy? Because you're trusting him to hold your Veritized gold assets. You're trusting him with 98 million tokens to introduce them slowly into the market. Now, I mean, does he appear to be a trustworthy guy? Yeah, but everyone always is, right? When, you know, before anything goes south. But I mean, all it takes for him is, so you can redeem your gold, right? Through VERI, you can buy tokenized gold, and you can submit KYC procedures, and you can physically redeem your gold from a custodian. All it takes is one failed delivery, and that entire business model is wrecked.
And that's what I mean. Like, that gets away from trustless transactions, trustless environments in the cryptocurrency. That's the whole point of it. It shouldn't have a third party risk. And so that's why I think I've thought long and hard about how can you have a commodity based backed cryptocurrency, and unless you're buying the token and then you get delivery right away, I don't see. Even still, there's still some issue there, but I don't think those two gel. I think it's like water and oil, man. I just don't.
I think I agree with you, but I mean, I guess somebody else has to try to tokenize the easy handling of gold, you know, tradable person to person. And at least at the beginning, you've got to believe it's backed by a physical gold, because we all know how rehypothecated the gold is. Well, you don't. That was the whole point of someone has to.
But see, that was the whole point of Bitcoin. Like, that's what Bitcoin is, a mathematically based trustless system. Like, we know there are only X amount of 21 million tokens ever. So you don't need to back it by a commodity, any cryptocurrency. Now you can back it by an asset like a home, because a home is a home. Like, I can't rehypothecate a home. It is where it's going to be on that plot of land.
I was going to say that too before we got into that. When you talked about the trust in on a commodity back, I was just going to say, now he's got the ability as well to tokenize real estate and buildings.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But again, I'm totally cool with that part. And I've heard him talk about that, air rights as well, doing air rights. I'm sure you can even do water rights and ground rights or whatever, mineral rights. I'm sure you can do all of that. I'm cool with all of that. It's just the more so what kind of gets me in the tizzy is the whole commodity backed portion of it, where it literally you're adding another layer of risk that isn't necessary for a cryptocurrency.
I agree. I want to digress a little bit and go further with that real estate business. You familiar with Propy?
Yeah, absolutely. That was in
Propy's.
I got familiar with Propy, I think, from Cliff High's report, I believe, and then I bought some in the ICO.
Yeah, I got in the ICO too, but Propy's been making some big strides.
They've been making big strides.
I want to say they just sold some property in Arizona, Vermont already. They got properties listed in California. Yeah, I think that they're making some big strides. And so here's the thing: is I asked Reggie in a AMA video if he can basically do the same thing Propy's doing, and his response was yes. And matter of fact, he actually met with what's her name, Natalie or Natalia or something from Propy, the founder.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that he needs to get to the real estate. I think the gold is an easy way to kind of get your feet wet. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but I think in this space, it's probably the low-hanging fruit. Grab onto a commodity, tokenize it, get your system in place for tokenizing hard assets before you move into the buildings and such. And Propy may be the one clearing all those regulatory hurdles because they're gaining traction. Propy is definitely gaining traction.
They are.
And if Reggie can do what they do, and there doesn't seem to be any reason that he can't, then I think that he has a good shot at being successful, even without the tokenized gold. But
I agree.
He's got a slew. Yeah, he's got a slew of products.
Yeah, he's got a number of products for sure. But
the development is a little bit slow. But people got to consider what that man is juggling. I mean, I think he has like 20 some staffers. Okay, that is an obnoxiously low amount of staff to juggle renting tokens, tokenizing gold, creating a stable coin backed by a basket of precious metals and resources, tokenizing real estate, doing the Veritasium research. I mean, it's almost unbelievable what he's trying to do with a staff of 20 people.
I do not take that away from it at all. And I don't take away what he's doing as far as this whole Veritasium suite of products. Again, my concern is the expectations on the other end by the speculators who are hodling this Veri token. Where does the price end up? Where is fair value for Veri? And I think a lot of people may have overzealous fair value prices for Veri. I don't know. I could be wrong. Absolutely.
Well, they're relying on Cliff High's prediction. And quite frankly, if Reggie gains traction in Africa like he's expecting to, and governments pick it up, I mean, I think you'll see some appreciation on that token regardless, even if it's just hype. I think you'll see appreciation.
Yes, you will.
Wanted to segue
you'll see a bump.
a little bit. Yeah, into the utility tokens. Now, you're familiar with what happened with Digipulse, right? Where they nobody was using their coin for anything but speculation. They weren't using it for utility. Now, I mean, everybody's got to be careful of that situation. And so to his hodlers, myself included, I would say be ready to use that damn token for what its utility was intended for. Because
Doc of the Bay, sorry to cut you off, and I'm going to get to the next caller.
Go ahead.
He's been patiently waiting, but let me ask you this. This is a good question. Doc of the Bay says, Veri is alive because of Cliff. What do you have to say about that?
Veri is alive because of Cliff. If Cliff didn't pump that and people weren't hodling it and people didn't perceive there to be value in the token, I don't know what he would have.
He would still be doing. He would still be going forward with the projects. I believe that's not without a shadow of a doubt. But the value, where the value would be, exactly, and that's what kind of my concern is. Is like, and he said this. I know for sure. I've heard him say this, Reggie. He said, "I'm not concerned about price. That's not what my concern is about the Veri token."
He's not concerned. He's not concerned about price, but that is precisely what somebody that is obsessed with a vision would say. And sometimes you get so obsessed with a vision that you forget about your investors supposed investors who think they're shareholders for crying out loud.
Yeah, they're not. They're not investors, and he's explicitly said that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to cause a riff or whatever, but that's, Michaela asked me, why don't I hold any honest reason? I don't know where to place fair value. I don't know. So,
well, you don't know. It's too early. You can't know. I mean, the hodlers are holding because of Cliff, myself included. Let's put it this way. I mean, it's one of those things. If I sold all my tokens and that ship left the bay and those tokens increased, my loss potential is unlimited. I mean, that can go sky high. If I just sit here and hang on to them. You know, worst case scenario, I get to use his mini hedge fund and either buy gold with it. Yeah, there you go, right there. Worst case scenario, if I'm holding these tokens, I can at least use them as a discount to buy gold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm one that's not, I'm a very objective person. I don't have like a bias or emotional connection to these things.
Correct.
I'm holding, and I don't really care. I think I like what the man is talking about.
I do too.
He is aware of the economic problems that we face today. He is one man trying to do something about it. And by God,
I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it. Again, that's not my concern. The man is definitely going to do it. You know, he's going to set out to do it. It's just at the end of the day, where is fair value after that? What does fair value look like after he's been successful at rolling out VERI? And so that's my concern.
That depends
and it's
how
not
widespread
just VERI.
it goes.
Yeah, it's not just VERI. It's about 90% of these coins and tokens. 99% of them.
Yeah,
but gotta let you go.
He can.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
sure thing.
No, go ahead and with your last point.
I was just going to say, but I mean, if he is successful, then it'll depend on how many people will want to use this platform, and the timing is right. I mean, the economic problems could not be more clear right now. And if he can just preach about the rehypothecation of shares and that there's not going to be that in his system, even if he can't verify, even if it's just on trust, if he can give people somewhere to go where gold won't be rehypothecated and shares won't be rehypothecated, then my God, I'm going to go there, whether it's truth or not, whether I got to trust them or not, because we know we can't trust the current system.
Mm-hmm. Well, Don, I got John Hill asking, before I let you go, how many VERI do you hold? Is what John, I'm sure you don't have to answer that, but John's a fool. Thanks for the call, man.
I mean, let me say this. For me, for myself personally, with my funds available, it's a small boatload, but that may be subjective to whatever you want to take that as.
Right. All right, Don. Thank you from West Virginia. Always a pleasure.
Talk to you.
All righty. Fud Killer. Finally.
Crypto Blood, what's up?
What's up, brother?
Everything I heard about Ripple like tonight, like, doesn't change jack shit. It just doesn't. Like, if you go on YouTube, there's a YouTube channel called Fed Payments Improvement, and it's all about Ripple, and it's like the central bank and all these interviews. I mean, they have been planning to use that system for years, like literally years. There's years worth of videos of them talking about how this is going to be great, this and that. It doesn't change anything. That's just their attempt to not become irrelevant very quickly. But I don't see Ripple as any type of long-term solution for them. They're obviously, like, our government is going to, but they're definitely going to go to a Fed coin or a US dollar coin. That is inevitable for every single country. Right now, cash is king inside America.
Is. Absolutely.
Everyone knows that. But see, I can go to a garage sale and I can buy something for $20 and not have the government know what I bought, right?
Yes.
Once you don't have that option, I think that hurts them far more than it helps them.
Why is that? That's a unique perspective there.
Well, America, opposed to most countries, is more like libertarian, and I think it's because of the fundamental ideas of America.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to admit that people are sheep in general. We all know that.
Yep.
I don't know the percentage. I mean, I don't know if you want to say 90%.
Above
95,
60, above 70.
Right. But it's not like intrusive, like, in their lives yet, to where, like, you need to have privacy and money, right? So it kind of, like, I think it hurts them, like, in terms of, like, as soon as they make it to where you can't, give your friend $20, you can't go to garage sale when everything is, on record. I think you're going to see more people than just the standard amount of, like, libertarians say, I'm going to, opt a decentralized payment or a privacy coin or something like that. Most people will be sheep. I mean, you have to accept that fact. So, I mean, like, I don't worry about that because I'm not a sheep. I wouldn't be here if I was. You wouldn't be here either.
Right.
And that's most of your listeners. But most people don't opt for privacy. Like, you look on Facebook right now and social media, they're not concerned about privacy. They could care less.
Nope. They just need that fix. They just need that fix.
So it's not going to change anything, right? Like, there's still going to be sheep, and you're still not going to be a sheep.
Well, that's the but see, that's the thing, Fuck Killer. That's the problem. Like, that's what concerns me about Ripple, is that people don't have a problem with the current system. So when this Ripple system presents itself fully, they're gonna adopt that right away.
Well, right, but that doesn't change the fundamentals of Bitcoin. And I think that when more people are actually forced with zero privacy, like no option of privacy whatsoever, because the U.S. dollar is still pretty private. I mean, it's very private. I mean, it's not like there are countries that don't have that privacy. There are countries in Scandinavia, Asia, that like they don't use cash that much. America is a cash-based society, and like our current group of people is used to some privacy with money.
Let me ask you this, Fuck Killer. How much do you know about Ripple? Do you know kind of the more details about it?
As far as what? Like, what are you asking?
Okay, so what I'm asking is Ripple's intent to is their target market the end user, the consumer, or is their target market the banks? I thought it was, from my understanding, it's the banks, right?
It is currently the banks. I mean, like, why would they say no to like the consumer? The banks are going to make their own system eventually, and so is the government, right? But they're not just going to let Ripple be their king. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, they can make their own interbank system.
I hear you.
And have the same advantages of a faster system.
Yeah.
So Ripple's not the end-all be-all. The Fed coin is the end-all be-all, obviously.
Whatever that's called. Right, yeah. Yeah.
Sure. US dollar coin or whatever it is.
Right.
But
and that lines up with, I don't know if you follow Jim Willie. That lines up with what he's been selling. Okay. Jim Willie has been saying that for years. There's going to be 2 US dollars. He calls one the Scheisse dollar. That's the one we currently have, where it's the import fiat for the US, and then we'll have a secondary coin or currency we're using that's internal, that's domestic. So yeah.
Well, it's going to run side by side for a long time. I mean, there are a lot of people who are never going to understand this technology. Older people, right? I mean, like, they're not going to get it, or they're not going to want to get it. So, like, it is a very long, drawn-out process to switch from like paper currency to just like digital. I mean, a lot of people that are older, I don't know, 50 and up, most of them. I don't know. Like, I'm just guessing, obviously, but they ain't having that shit. But Ripple is just a way for them, like, to not get smoked by cryptocurrency right off the bat. Like they can use it. Like, hey, look, our payments are faster. We're not obsolete. You don't have to wait 3 days. But once the government actually goes to the point where you are going to have to show every dollar that you ever spend anywhere, you're going to have mostly sheep. But like, opposed to there being 5% like libertarians, I think you're going to get, I don't know, 15, 20%. Like, so like, I don't think it really helps them. I think it will hurt them in the long term because they're trying to stay relevant. But who in their right mind, like if they grew up in America, like where you can use cash, right? You can use cash anywhere, and no one's asking you, why did you buy this? Like, as far as the police, state, and government, people are not just going to accept it.
Right.
I mean, it just... so Ripple, like, yes, like you can make money. Yes, like the banks are going to make it, but like it's not the end-all, be-all. Like, I think it's going to hurt them. I think it's going to hurt them more from a libertarian point of view. It'll bring more like libertarians out and say like, hey, like like we're used to privacy. Like I'd like some privacy, because privacy on social media is a lot different than privacy with money.
Absolutely, that's a big difference. That's true. We'll see, man. That's an interesting point of view you have. I didn't think of it that way. My take was that it's going to be detrimental to adoption of true cryptocurrencies, because again, as you stated, most people are sheeple. They're going to see Ripple all over the place, at PNC, at JP Morgan, at all these different branches and banks, and they're going to just adopt Ripple and whatever that system is, and instead of the true
but
cryptocurrency.
I think that's short term.
Okay.
Like I think that actually helps adoption. Like, oh, like look, like it's faster. But like eventually people are going to understand that you can't do jack shit without the police state up your ass. Mm-hmm. And there are more people than your traditional, like libertarian people who vote like that way or think that way. Like they'll be like, look, I just keep coming back to the point that money, privacy is a lot different than social media. Like,
Very
who
true.
cares what you say?
That is true.
But what,
that is true.
I mean, that's a different ball game of censorship. Like, that's a different ball game of invasion of personal space. I mean, like that's basically like shoving something up your fucking ass and taking a look.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. You're right. I didn't think of it that way. Privacy, when it comes to your money, is definitely different than privacy for a social media platform. So
people hide money from their wife. Like,
right.
You think that they're going to let the government just, let them know like every nickel and dime they spent? Who would do that in their right mind? And the people that do, well, you deserve it. I mean, that's what I think. So,
well, Fuck Killer, I appreciate the call in. Make sure you guys, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, then you already are. I'm just running all script that I'm normally used to doing at the end of a stream, bro. Thanks for the call in, and I'll see you soon.
All right, later, brother.
Call on the line. Are you still there? I guess not. As you guys can see, I'm getting tired here. I'm rambling and saying stuff all off the cuff. I was going to go ahead and do this this last article, but I think we'll wrap it up. We had some good call-ins tonight. I appreciate the support. Shout outs to Michaela Pike, I believe. We've got Big O, Silvertooth, Tyson 800, and John Hill for the super chat. Much appreciated, guys. And I think that's going to wrap this episode of Off the Chain. This is episode number 9. Again, thank you guys for joining in and calling in. And I think the takeaway from tonight for me, and I came up with this just kind of off the head, is you need to, if you're getting into cryptos, tell people to buy and try. Don't just hodl for speculation. Let's use these coins, buy stuff. I'm getting ready to buy another box of cigars off Puro Express with some Bitcoin, or I usually actually use Litecoin. Been using them for years, like 3-4 years. They've been a supporter of cryptocurrencies. You get, I think, a 3% discount actually if you purchase with crypto. Use this stuff, people. Don't just hodl. That's the motto. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and I'm out.